We good? Let me check these volumes. Sometimes they're loud as shit.
That was perfect timing.
Holy crap. Yeah, that was.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Boy Till Death podcast. Per usual, I'm Andrew.
Per usual, I'm Andrew.
I'm Taylor. Per usual, that's Andrew over there.
This is already.
There goes negative Nancy. Per usual. What's up, Ben? What's up, Ben?
Yeah, you asked like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Are you acknowledging I am here? What's going on?" What's going on?
You excited? We're recording early this week, so you could get the podcast in before your travels.
Okay, crisp few days early. Yeah. No. It's cool.
Yeah. Excited for the road. How long is that? About 5-hour drive to Furnace Fest for you?
So to catch up the listeners on what's going on here, going out of town to go do this thing called Furnace Fest, which is
we've only been talking about it for like the last 2 weeks.
Hey man, someone could be tuning in right now. Today is their first episode, and they're like, "What the shit am I listening to?" Like,
oh my god,
I'm here for you, people.
And if I were to bring up Furnace Fest, you were like, "Oh my god, we're talking Furnace Fest again."
No, yeah. So we're leaving tomorrow morning, which is why we're recording early, and it's a 5-hour drive there, and then 3 days in the beautiful sun, and then an 8-hour drive down to Florida for some godforsaken reason.
You're going to Florida after?
Yeah, we're taking like a full vacation.
Yeah, that's what they did last year too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I looked up the weather because I'm trying to gauge what it's going to be like next weekend after this one, because we're going to see Aaron's family. And it looks like this coming weekend's going to be nice and crispy there for you.
Yeah, I think it's a high of 80s and a low of the 60s, which is what it was last year, and it was beautiful. Like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 kind of sucks, but then, after you're done sweating, a nice cool breeze is appreciated.
Yeah, especially on that damn concrete you said you're going to be on the whole time. That shit just radiates.
I was going to say, you said concrete, is like one of the... There's 3 stages, and one pit for the side stage, it's by the lake, is literally a gravel pit.
Oh my god!
The pit formed around tiny rocks, and I was like, "Oh man, one person falls."
Oh my
no!
This is metal. Let's go.
I was dealing with gravel today,
and that's the venue that End played in last year.
Oh,
so Necessary Death came on, and
this will end you.
Well, it's been fun.
Is this your first trip in a while? I know some people haven't gotten out since COVID.
Nah, dude, I'm a Floridian at heart. I don't believe in that stay-at-home crap. No. We've gone sadly back to Florida for like a wedding and stuff, but. I mean, it's the first vacation. Like, this is the first few days off that we've actually had in about a year.
About a year ago, actually, this week, I was in Florida myself. And before that, it was a year prior to Hawaii. So I feel like I'm fiending for a trip.
Indeed. Same.
Andrew, it's been almost a year since you've been out to Oregon.
Yeah, already. We got like a month.
You need to travel a little more, buddy.
I'm just sad from your just response. Indeed. Like, what?
Indeed. You good, Andrew? Did you not have your pre-podcast Mountain Dew?
It's hard being a photographer that can't travel the way he wants to. That's just
that's what happens when you have children, buddy.
It's rewarding in other ways, but it's definitely grounded me.
But defeating in all life goals.
It's such a lovely thing, isn't it?
Stares out the window. Sounds of Silence starts playing.
Oh Jesus! No, I've been wanting to get on a freaking plane just to go somewhere. I just dropped Jade off at the airport, and just driving up to the airport, it's just like, I need to go somewhere.
Just a tease.
I don't miss flying though. Yeah, I don't miss flying, but to get anywhere, you got to fly. I've had some bad turbulent stories on a damn plane, but nothing compares. Andrew, you got that one damn time on a plane that you said you fell out of the sky for like a minute. It
felt like a minute. In reality, it was about 5 seconds. But sit there and quietly just count out 5 accurately lengthed seconds consecutively, and now imagine you're free falling for that amount of time.
No, thank you.
That was terrifying.
That story you tell me always reminds me of the scene in The Day After Tomorrow when they're flying to New York and the plane's like falling out of the sky for no damn reason.
Yeah, he's like, "Don't worry, you're more likely to be struck by lightning than die of turbulence or whatever." And he's like, "You're not helping."
Is that probably your worst travel story?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of different trips have had little moments that have been kind of crazy, but that was definitely the most like, holy shit, I'm gonna die moment.
We're gonna die. I have some fucking nightmares, and most of them deal with I don't know if we want to say the name of the business, but that little house share business that everyone uses online. Starts with an A. Yeah, no. So
Blair D&D.
Oh, dude. Okay, sorry. I was sitting here like eyeballing you to be like, I'm a wild card. I will say whatever. Oh, actually, I have.
You're the one that said we shouldn't be saying business names.
No. So before you get onto your horror story, Airbnb. I don't know if that's related to the business you're talking about, but has been.
It might be the same thing.
I don't know, but in what I have seen for Furnace Fest, I have counted over like 10 times in the Furnace Fest community that's going on Facebook. Airbnbs are just canceling on people 3 days before the show. There is a entire discussion of like, hey, Airbnb just canceled on me. Does anyone have a spare room? Like the week of the event. And I'm like, this is sketch. So,
and you said there's no hotels, right?
There are hotels, but with the way Airbnbs work in Birmingham, it's like you get them close to the venue so you can afford to walk there. Ubers are upcharged like crazy during the weekend. And the hotel we stayed in last year was about 20 minutes away, like 15 minutes away. So you're paying for convenience too. So it just wilds me that like it has not just a one-time occurrence or like me too. It's like it's a substantial amount of people being canceled on. And I don't know
that's
where the repercussions are. Is that like a company thing? Like, do they get a credit towards their next stay? Anyways.
And a lot of those guys are screwed too, because if I would have went this weekend as late as I was looking into hotels, I would have easily been paying like $1,200 for 2 nights.
That's crazy. For Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, of all things.
I bet you $5. It's a lot of the hosts realizing there's something big happening that weekend, and they could cancel and charge like triple the cost. Oh yeah, they're like, we're missing out on money. $5 says that's what
happening. I thought was happening. And then my following question was like, is there any repercussion? Like, what is the consequence?
I really
Can you
know.
Just offer up a house and be like, nah, I'm gonna mess around with some people?
Yeah, that's so messed up.
That's really shitty. If that's what's going on, that's really shitty.
My horror story with Airbnb was Jade and I went to Colorado to see some family one year, and most of the family was staying at my aunt and uncle's house, and we found an Airbnb that was literally like next street over. Like it was literally a 5-minute walk, not even. So I was like, cool. And the photos looked all right. That's where they fucking get you on these damn Airbnb websites. They take immaculate photos, and you get there and you walk in, there's a freaking cockroach going across the bed. So I've told this story like on Facebook before, or somewhere before, I can't remember, but the homeowner was there, and he turned his house into almost a mini hotel, and I don't know how he got away with it. Like each room was its own room. It had its lock on it. and we all like shared the one upstairs bedroom. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs, whatever. I never saw anyone else. The bathroom situation wasn't ideal, of course, but it was also cheap and nearby. But the weird part is I had to take a test to stay there. The guy met us at the front door, opened the door,
What
and
is
said,
your quest?
"Pop."
What is your favorite color?
Literally looked me in the eye. He's like, "Hi, are you Taylor?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool. Before you're allowed in my property, we have a pop quiz." I'm like, I literally like joked. I was like, "Oh, that's funny." That's how I was. And he looked me dead in the eye. I'm being 100% serious. I'm like, okay. I looked over at Jay, and Jay's just like the blank stare, like, what is happening right now? And his pop quiz was, do you know how to lock a door? I swear to God. He was like going slowly, sticking the key in the knob, turning it. And he's like, I want you to make sure you know how to lock the door. And I wish he was being like sarcastic in a way, but this older man was 1000% dead on serious. And he's like, if you can't do this, I will refund you, but you can't stay here tonight. And I was like, okay. I took the key, just that awkward, like, looking at him as I put the key in, and I'm like, am I doing this right? Like, I was doubting myself. I was doubting myself on how I use a key.
Do I actually know how to use a lock?
And we got up to the room, and he had it like, it was like a regular bedroom, like with a reach-in closet, but there was like a kitchenette he made into the reach-in closet, and there was, I swear to God, like multiple outlet, like those power strips with multiple plugs in and stuff. And I swear it was a fire hazard. There was like 5 in that bedroom. And we were desperate to stay at that place because it was just like the last minute thing, and like we didn't have the money to go anywhere else. And I just felt like there was a camera on us at somewhere in that damn place. I just know it. Luckily, we were only there for one night. We were tired. We said fuck it and just stayed.
And this is in Colorado.
Colorado, yeah, just outside Denver, Lafayette, where my family's at. That trip right there, I stopped using Airbnb after that trip right there. It's absolute nightmare.
I've only used it. I've only used it twice, and both of them were the same one.
Bunch.
And
I used it a bunch
when Aaron and I went to Forks in Washington, and then when we went back with you and Jade and Kelsey. And
did you stay in the same place?
Yeah, it was the same place. Or
same exact room?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because
I didn't know that.
I originally, because they were super nice, and I originally was going to be bringing Strider, and they're like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. Just make sure you walk him and pick up after him." And they didn't bother us. They left us like snacks and stuff the first time, and everything was clean and stuff. So we're like, "Hey, would you guys mind if we came back and just brought some friends?" And they're like, "Yeah, definitely." And they didn't even like, if I remember right, they didn't even upcharge us for the people.
No, there was like 5 of us at that little ass place.
Yeah,
I just remember that Pacific storm hitting because we were like up there, like in the most northwestern point of the United States.
Yeah,
and that the storm that hit us, the power was flickering all night. It was wild.
Yeah, that was a crazy.
I feel
weekend.
like Airbnb is just the stories that happened. What was it, like 10 years ago? Not 10 years ago, like 5 years ago when it came out. You can be your own boss and do your own stuff. Like Uber was. For me, I never took an Uber because I've seen the movie Hostel and Hostel Part 2. Okay?
Yeah.
I know what happens. And I finally took one just for convenience after a late night out in Orlando. I was like, this is actually not bad. You got to register your license plate. Mm-hmm. Like, if something happened to me, there's some follow through. Airbnb is like the Wild West. And you have some good. I've stayed in a great Airbnb. It was a great little spot. Everything was taken care of, and we paid a little extra, left some money on the counter. I was like, thank you. And then there's somewhere I want to immediately leave and never travel again.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen horror stories online about staying in Airbnbs and the things that people find. And I remember seeing one time where there was a big picture frame or painting of some sort that was on a wall in some room that people were staying in, and it had these little decorative things that almost look like tiny eyes or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain it. They weren't eyes. It was like little scroll work and everything all going through the frame. And there was a little piece of it. I don't know how they found this, but it dialed back to reveal a hole going through the wall, a peephole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that video you're talking about.
I have also seen ScoobyDoo.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
All I heard was like painting on the walls. Where's the Scooby-Doo reference?
Yeah. The eyes are following you around the room. Yeah, no, it is. I feel like it's a lot more sketchy now. A lot of people.
You know what it is now? Fucking expensive.
That's what it used to be. Was like, a cheap alternative.
150. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why we use it. And they suckered Jade and I into the beginning, like the culture, like you learn how they live in the area. And the first time I used it was in New York, and we were staying in Harlem, like a remodeled place. And that was a dope. That was like, all right, I'm into this. This is dope. And it's just, I swear, every Airbnb after that's been downhill. And I totally refuse. Now it's more expensive than a hotel. Yeah, a hotel has a pool and feeds you in the morning, so it's like, what's the point?
That's half of our trip we're planning around. Is we've got like a day or two that's just dead time, and I don't know. Oh God, it's more of a self-reflection of, am I getting old? But we're like, oh, the hotel has a pool. What if we go to the Universal Resort and we can hang out at their pools and be fancy and just lounge all day? And I'm actually excited about it, and that's where I had a break. I was like, hold on.
that 30 life is real, trust me. Once you hit 25, it's just like, bring out the New Balances. But no, yeah, I've been desperate for a trip. We're actually planning a trip down to Florida, but for a wedding down in Miami, and we're definitely taking a few days to go to like the Keys and shit. I'm excited for that one.
Oh, nice.
Except, once again, Airbnbs and hotels out the ass. It's like $400 a night in the Keys. Come on.
I can't believe I lived in Florida for, 25,
your whole life?
26 years of my life, and never went to the Keys once.
I've never been to the Keys either.
Definitely not up you guys' alley at all.
All there is to do is drugs and drink and
fish and get
pass
drunk
out on the beach.
Hey, that's it. Do you like to fish? No. Do you like to go out on boats? No. Do you like to drink, Andrew? No.
Yeah, every story I've ever heard from someone taking a trip to the Keys is, yeah, we just hung out on the boat all day and had a bunch of Coronas. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can do that in my bathtub, but sure.
You don't even like seafood, Andrew. I don't even know if you like it.
Sushi is my jam.
I don't like seafood.
Now, in a mountain state, not so much.
You're a sushi guy? I would not have taken you as a sushi guy.
I'll drop a paycheck on good sushi. No problem.
I say I like sushi, but I mostly just go for the California roll and eel sauce. That's all I want.
Dude, do you remember when we used to go to...
Yes.
There was a sushi spot in Portland. I think it was called Yama.
Yeah, it's still
right. There. Yeah. And when me and Taylor and everybody all lived together, every now and then we would go there on Friday nights, and I was just like along for the ride. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this, whatever. I basically just
sitting in the house, and we're all like, oh, let's go somewhere to eat, and everyone's like, sushi, and Andrew's face like, oh fuck, I don't want to go sushi. He's outnumbered 4-1 instantly.
And this wasn't the kind of place that just had sushi. It was in absolute sushi joint. Like that was their thing. So it wasn't like one of these things that had like noodle dishes or anything with rice and stuff. That was like, it was sushi. So anytime we went there, I literally just got fried chicken. They had these little tempura battered pieces of chicken that was basically just chicken strips but Japanese, and that's what I ate.
That every goddamn time. I think we went back like 3 times, and that was you every time. They're damn good though. I'll admit you that.
They were good. Yeah,
man. Please tell me if this blows your mind as much as I do. I learned this food fact the other day. If I were to ask you where deviled eggs originated from, where would y'all say?
Hell.
My heart says that.
Hell. I'm not a fan of them, so I agree.
My heart says the South, but I feel like they're much older than that.
Then is that what you say?
No, I said hell because it's a deviled egg.
You said hell.
The devil lays eggs and we eat them.
Hilarious.
Here's some ASMR for you.
Clip that. Yeah, I mean, you find them mostly like in southern restaurants, like fancy southern restaurants and shit on them.
Yeah.
But I found out that they're from Italy. Would you take deviled eggs as an Italian dish?
Not at all.
Like, that one threw me for a loop when I saw it just pop up on one of my YouTube videos I watch. And I was like, what the? That one, I'm looking at Jade. I might have been high as shit too, but I was just it's like, Italy, what the fuck? Ain't no marinara on them bitches.
I would No, I if anything, I would have guessed maybe Eastern European or like maybe like Germany or I don't know. I don't know.
It's weird.
Did either of you guys happen to catch the premiere of Andor?
Oh,
I have not.
That new Star Wars show?
It literally came out today.
Yeah, that new Star Wars show that just dropped on Disney Plus. The 3-episode premiere of Star Wars Andor featuring Cassian Andor from Rogue One.
It was 3 episodes? I only watched the first one.
It was 3 episodes. I watched all 3.
Prequel?
It's a prequel to a prequel. It was funny. My mom was asking me about it. My mom was asking me about it because she was seeing ads for it. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's a prequel. She's like, they love doing prequels. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's a prequel to a prequel. So it's kind of a turducken kind of thing.
Because they freaking shat the bed on the sequels. So they've got to go the other direction.
Yeah. We got to go back. Shit, go back. Go back.
Go back.
Let it reverse, Harry.
Reverse.
Oh, Lord. Damn it.
Talk about going back.
So was it good at least?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Please bring
no, Ben,
on.
I'm curious to see what you thought of it first.
So I enjoyed it, but because they released 3 episodes, I don't feel like I got the full picture. And this is a non-spoilery thing. And for all the listeners out there, you can clip this little part. You just put in spoiler. If I, as a preface, if I go into a little deep when you're editing.
Spoiler.
We'll auto-tune that voice too.
Yes.
I will say the first thing that caught me off guard was the synthwave soundtrack. Although I appreciate it and I love synthwave.
Yeah, they're doing some new stuff with the music.
Yeah, it was like this isn't Star Wars, but I was like, oh, we're gonna watch. We're gonna see what goes on.
Yeah.
And for honestly a character, I loved Rogue One. It's the best Star Wars movie that's ever come out. Changed my mind. The first trailers that came out before they butchered it were better than what they came out with, but it's okay. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. For a minor character in that whole movie, in my opinion, Andor was just there as a plot driver. The fact that they're delving in,
that's fair,
a little bit more into his backstory and giving him some agency is kind of nice.
Yeah.
You're not focusing on a Skywalker. You're not focusing on a Jedi. You're focusing on a dude, and that's kind of nice.
Boots on the ground, everyday normal people in this universe. Yeah,
and it's
refreshing.
That's what I'm here for, and it feels. And we've talked about it before, but Dave Filoni, like anything he does is great, and that's kind of what he focuses on. Now, this isn't Filoni, but it's got that same feel. And I enjoy it. I'm actually very excited to see episode 2 and 3 to see where the intro arc goes. And from what I can understand, now granted, in this day and age of everyone spreading false information on TikTok and Facebook and crap, I don't know if this is true, but it's covering a few years or covering like different segments of space.
It's true.
So how it was like every 3 episodes was a new arc, basically.
Yes,
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah. So how this show works? It's a 12-episode show for this season, and basically it's closing the 5-year gap between where we first pick up in episode 1 and the events that start Rogue One. and each 3 episodes, it's events that happen like one event in each year, each subsequent year before the 5th year, which will be the 2nd season. It's kind of weird, but it's just basically following his progress as a kind of selfish survivor. Like he's only bent on survival. That is literally his only motivation, except for he does have one minor motivation that I won't spoil because it's literally in the first few minutes of the episode. But it's basically it's character driven. It's different from a lot of what other Star Wars stuff is. A lot of other Star Wars stuff is all plot, like just big action explosions, big on-screen battles, whatever, and cool character moments in between, at least in the live action stuff. But this show is 100%, I can already tell, all about the characters. And like you said, him being a minor character from Rogue One and seeing them take the time to build out his backstory and everything in a way that's interesting, it's pretty cool. I like it because you're seeing a Joe Schmo go from like nothing to being a hardened, almost war criminal for the rebellion.
He is. That's the stuff that the first feeling I got was, this is what we did on the forums 20 years ago. You see the random dude in the background, and you give this guy a whole story, and that ends up being, at the time, canon. And this feels very much like a fan saw the movie and went, what if he had a really interesting
What about
arc?
that guy?
And that's what I'm here for. It's a character piece with purpose and agency. Like, it's honestly, the first episode has already made me forget about Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan missed that mark hard. They relied too much on the nostalgia.
And that's saying something, because you take 2 iconic characters that are strong backbones of the franchise, you give them their own show, and then for you to sit there and watch this guy who is just a one-off side character from one movie who dies at the end of his one movie he's been in, and you're like, oh, I'm way more hooked on this than I am.
Well, spoiler.
It's I don't know if it's sad about the Obi-Wan show or if it just speaks to the skill and the writing that's already going into this show. You can tell there's so much attention to detail and love and devotion that is going into the writing of the show. It's insane.
I think it's a little bit of both. My honest opinion about Obi-Wan, because it was supposed to be a movie first, and then it got put into a show, and then
it was,
what it sounds like is it went through just development hell, and they kind of settled.
It switched hands a couple times too.
Honestly, I could see it being made as a movie, because like all the parts that I remember thoroughly through the show, I could just see as movie scenes as a plot line and stuff without the filler.
There's a lot of filler in that.
And apparently a lot of the filler that is in that show, I've heard, it was always somewhat there, but they shuffled it around to include more characters that we had never seen. Like the I forget her name already, but the chick who was posing as an Imperial officer to get in and out of Sanctum Sanctorum. Of whatever it is, Inquisitorius.
You just said Sanctum Sanctorum.
Whoa,
dude. Wrong Disney property, bud.
Hey, it's the multiverse. You're all Wong.
You're all Wong.
No, she wasn't supposed to be in it before, and it was supposed to be more heavily focused on the Inquisitors themselves, and less on Reva, and more on the actual already established Inquisitors. Grand Inquisitor and all those guys. They were supposed to bring in is it Third Sister? I can't remember, from Rebels. But anyways, all the comic book Inquisitors, the video game Inquisitors, the animated shows Inquisitors, they were all supposed to be in the show.
Yeah.
And they were the main threat other than Vader. And then they just randomly threw in, hey, what if we take out most of those guys, throw in Reva or whatever her name is, and she's just on a blood quest for Vader or whatever.
And I'm going to apologize to you, Taylor.
It's kind of weird.
I know you have no opinion on any of this, but Kathleen, I hope you're listening to me.
Oh, boy.
I am sick and
Kathleen.
tired of this trope of I'm an Empire bad guy, but I see the good in life and I want to change my ways. Like, pick another story, dude. Like, we've seen it 20 times, 30 times. There's other, and that's kind of where Andor, to me, feels refreshing, because it's just, hey, here's a dude surviving in what feels like the Outer Rim and just doing his thing. Yeah. There's no...
One thing that I think is kind of cool is the bad guys in the first, this isn't a spoiler, it's just kind of a fun fact. The bad guys in the first arc, the first 3 episodes, are not Imperials. They're basically like private security. They're like, imagine the Empire is the main government, and then they hire out private security to govern certain sections of the galaxy that they don't care about or they haven't spread to yet. They're just like basically space cops that are enforcing this area.
Shocker, our government does do that.
Yeah, it's basically the president / DC government, and then you have each state government. You have the overarching government, but then you have the small independent. They kind of do what they want.
Independent contractors. Blackwater's the big one everyone knows about here.
Yeah, so you have this like Imperial loyalist tryhard who's not even an Imperial, who's just like, we gotta get this guy, and like having a hernia. And I will say, Ben, and well, I mean, I know you're gonna watch it too, Taylor, but after the first episode,
I'm excited for this one.
It is a slow burn kind of, it's a spy flick version of it's a Star Wars spy thing, and
it's by me.
And it is a slow burn thing, but in every good way that it could be. By the end of by the 3rd episode, it wraps up in such a nice way. Oof.
I love a good slow burn.
It's very good.
It's all good. Now I'm excited for this one. I've been fiending for like a something other than the Skywalker.
Well, boy, do I have some news for you. There's a show coming out called Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. I'm so excited for Ahsoka, dude. I can't even talk about it.
Well, we're not going to, because there's no information given yet. So, hey.
I will say some little tidbits here. Firstly, Dave Filoni, writer of Rebels and a lot of Clone Wars, creator of Ahsoka, the character, says that this show is his magnum opus. Everything that he has laid out, the plot lines and the groundwork, little tiny things here and there for Ahsoka, all get picked up again and addressed and grown upon in this show. That's what he says. Second thing, Ezra has finally been cast, and it's not the dude who plays Aladdin. It's another guy. I forget his name. He's in the latest. He's in the latest Will Smith movie, the King. Whatever. What is it? King something. The Jesus.
Oh, the Serena Williams.
Yes, he's in that.
Yeah, King Richard.
King Richard. Yeah, the dude looks exactly like Ezra.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
And then at D23, which we didn't even actually cover this, which is surprising, but a few weeks ago, D23 happened. Taylor's dying. And they showed there's a very important scene at the end of Rebels where Sabine Wren, the Mandalorian, is looking at, she's an artist in the show Rebels, and she's looking at a mural that she paints of the Ghost crew, Ezra and Kanan and all those guys. They recreated the freaking mural and they released her looking at the mural. You know, the last scene where she walks off and she joins Ahsoka to look for Ezra. They recreated that scene and they released the shot of that. It's literally the exact shot, and the mural is true to the art style of Rebels. It looks exactly the same. This is a love letter to the animated stuff, and I am so
all I say to you is you are welcome, Andrew, for forcing you to watch that show.
Yeah, I do have Ben to thank. Because when I watched the Clone Wars, I loved it so much by the end of it that I was like, I don't want to watch Rebels. I looked at it. I watched the trailer for it. I watched like the first episode. I was like, no, I don't want to, because the art style is different. It was
very Disney looking.
Yeah, it was a lot more kiddie, like at least than the later seasons of Clone Wars. but Rebels is my all-time favorite Star Wars content.
You get
everything.
You get Thrawn. Everything. You get the Darth Maul story arc completion. Because spoiler alert, Darth Maul's been alive, kids. You get like very Force heavy content to where it's not just
lots of Force
Jedi
lore.
and Sith. You get to see what came before, and all I have to say to any of this is, if you are mildly curious in Star Wars and you're curious about what this Ahsoka show is going to be like, just do yourself a favor. Watch the last 3 episodes. Get Disney Plus. Watch the last 3 episodes of Clone Wars. You don't have to have any context. Yep. You've all seen the Clone Wars. Yep. You all know about Order 66. If you don't, where have you been for the last 20 years?
Order 66. Why are you listening to us? That's all.
Why are you here? Get on Disney. Yeah, just beautiful. And then that will spark your curiosity potentially.
Yeah. Rebels it's a little kiddie at first. It is a Disney XD show. It was put out on the kids, network or whatever. But going back and watching the beginning of Clone Wars, dude, Clone Wars is damn near juvenile in the beginning. Oh my god, it's unwatchable. Have you seen
the reasoning behind that? Like, that's actually purposeful. So Dave Filoni,
I know it was
like the first season of Rebels and the first season of Clone Wars is almost annoying. It's tough to get through, and you keep going through it, and you start to learn more about the characters, and you as a viewer grow with the character. So the first season,
grow with it.
Ahsoka's this annoying Padawan. Ezra's this annoying little nerf herder. And as you go through, you're growing that mental bond, or you have this connection with characters growing.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you are also reaching this it was.
They grow, the stakes grow, it
was a very interesting way.
Yeah, I know, but all that to say, it's about to be a very, very good time to be a Star Wars fan. It already kind of is if you just forget about the sequel trilogy. But
yeah. What?
Yeah.
You mean episodes 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Those are the prequel.
Well, they were a sequel to the original trilogy.
And Rogue One came out as a prequel. And now we got Andor as a prequel, the prequel.
Yo, we heard you like prequels, so we put a prequel to the prequel that came out to the prequel.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog.
Yeah, one of these days, I keep saying we're gonna watch Clone Wars, but I have a hard time starting animations. But when I do, I get so sucked into them. But I'm like that with most shows, to be honest.
My advice, because I know how you are, like with stuff like that, especially with kiddie stuff. I would say skip maybe the first 3 seasons.
No, you can't. There is a lot of you need to deal with.
Season 1 though.
If I miss 2 minutes of a movie, I can't watch it.
To be honest with you, literally the only thing you need to know from the beginning of Clone Wars is that after Attack of the Clones, Anakin begrudgingly takes on Ahsoka as a Padawan, and she's literally an exact reflection of how he was when he came to the Order. And there's not a lot else to that
suffering,
other than like maybe some stuff to side Jedi characters and stuff. There is some cool stuff. No. But
the suffering makes the end worth it. You suffer that first season. You must
suffer as I have suffered.
You bear yourself to that television to find the reward of that final season.
Oh.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna watch it. I've been wanting to watch
it is worth it though.
Again.
I want to watch Rebels again, and I've already seen it 3 times through. So
it took me a couple months to watch Obi-Wan. We just finished it last week, but like after watching it, like it relit that fire though to get back into that, watch all the shows and old movies and stuff. It's been a minute. I can't tell you the last time I saw episode 1 through 3, any of them.
Somewhat recently for me, but it was the same thing. We're just like, hey, it's been a minute.
It was good Star Wars talk, boys.
Yeah. I don't think we've had a Star Wars talk like that yet.
No, I think that was a good one that people can actually stay with.
I don't think that was even a real Star Wars talk because people can understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a
that's
very.
true.
We're gonna have to have an episode where it's just
public.
called Untethered. It just like skippable at best, and we're just gonna go ham.
Jam of the week.
Also, before
I don't want to catch you off guard
we go
this
into
time.
the jam of the week, I do want to say thank you to our editor Andrew for keeping in the entirety of these mic problems I was having the last few episodes. I was listening through it. I had to take a drive, and there's a solid 5 to 10 minutes of just hello. Like, is this working? What's going on?
And if you listen on top of all the hello, it's just a lot of this.
God. That was.
And you're like, oh, I can't figure out this mic, dude. And you're like trying to talk. I'm just trying to talk quiet. So
And the whole time you were telling me that I sounded loud, but
I adjusted.
I don't know if it was from your. Okay, you adjusted it.
Yeah, I adjusted it.
Because as a listener, all it sounded like was me saying,
if you go back and
I'm
listen
being
to
loud. You're too loud. I'm just talking, and I don't know. I was like, is this coming across like it's a very weird time.
I haven't finished the episode yet. I got to go back and listen. I just remember that happening when we recorded it. I can't believe you got that.
Yeah, because it's like, because we're talking, and then all of a sudden, I'm just like, what just happened? So we lost Ben or something like that. And then it's like, and he's back, and he's just like, hello.
Now I gotta go back and listen.
I forgot about that.
So what are we jamming to this week, Andrew?
All right. Are you gonna do your little song or no?
What do you mean, my little song?
Your little intro for it.
My little intro.
Yeah. You gave us an intro last time. Where's the intro?
I'm hitting play and it's not playing. God damn it!
Where's the intro, Taylor?
I am so sick of this damn recording software we use. We're finding something new. I'm literally hitting play. It's not playing.
All right, there you go. There's your.
I mean, y'all have heard me play sounds already, right?
That works.
That's your intro
works.
song.
That was good. Yeah, it was working earlier. I don't know what happened.
Whatever.
I probably just made a child scream with that noise, but.
Anyways, Andrew.
We're still new at this. All right.
This thing's going to randomly start playing 1,000,000 times after I've clicked it once.
This jam of the week comes to you from a long string of nostalgic listening. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got to this point.
It just
happened. I was reminded this week of several bands actually that I used to love back in the day that weren't exactly, I wouldn't say they're formative to my music taste, but they just bands that I liked a lot in high school.
Stop
and stuff.
Teasing me.
You guys ever heard of
Well, what? This is a lot of lead up to hear a band name. Tell me what it is.
Shamal, clip that.
You guys ever heard of Armor for Sleep?
I've heard of them.
Actually,
I've actually never listened.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was on your radar back in the day or not.
That
Ben.
sad.
They were a pretty prominent. Okay, they weren't that sad. There were much sadder bands. Anyways, they were, however, a pretty prominent band back in the height of the emo days. I mean, they were grouped in there with the emo bands for sure. No, but this jam of the week is by Armor for Sleep. It's their album called "What to Do When You're Dead." And
continue making my point.
So there you go. No, but you would think
that's sad.
No, but actually, it's a concept album.
I wonder what about
it.
Sorry, I'll stop.
Allow me to tell you.
Boy, I have the answer for you right here.
No, it's about a guy who dies in the first song.
Nice.
And it's about his journey through the different parts of the afterlife and going through the 5 stages of grief, but while dead, not alive, mourning what he lost in life. and ending in acceptance at the end.
That's pretty cool.
I was thinking of a clever way to say it's like Dante's Inferno.
Dante's
Dante's
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is
slow walk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, the CD cover and everything, like the CD cover is a guy in a suit floating above like suburbia, and if you ever owned the CD along with the lyrics and everything, they did it to where it's a whole experience. So if you're one of those guys that back in the day, or one of those people back in the day that used to read the lyrics while you listen to the album you just bought at FYE or whatever.
Oh yeah, pull the pamphlet out.
Yeah, because that was me. You'd be watching, and along with the songs, there's images for each song of the guy phasing through walls, visiting things from his life, whatever, and his journey kind of as a dead person. And nice. It's good though. It's really good.
I love a good concept album. I have to maybe check that one out.
And there's a very wide array of sounds on the album because I mean, there's parts where it's very atmospheric. There's parts where there's songs that are very hard hitting. There's songs that are kind of softer and laid back. And then there's others that are just straight up unsettling and kind of eerie to listen to.
Oh.
There's one song, and it's one of my favorite ones on the album, called Basement Ghost Singing. And
okay.
And it's him who he's unable to let go of the person that he was with in life, and he's just staying in her basement trying to get over her, and he thinks that he's like singing to her as a ghost, and he's going crazy because he thinks that she can hear him, but she can't. It's kind of crazy. But
I know, I dig that. I'll have to check that out.
It's sick. It really is. And that's one of the more eerie ones to listen to. But I don't know how well I just sold this album. I feel like some people are going to be like, what the fuck, Andrew? But they're a really good band though. And I feel like they get lumped in with a lot of emo bands, and people assume they have that emo kind of sound, but they really sound more alternative than anything. Like they aren't whiny or anything, or I don't know. It's just really good music. So
without listening, I automatically always assumed they were part of that genre.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely were. They just didn't lean into it as hard as, say, people like, I don't know, Hawthorne Heights and stuff like that.
You shut your damn mouth. You better stop.
I might make you mad.
Wait, are you pro or like negative towards?
All I have to say, Warped Tour, Hawthorne Heights was playing. I'm walking by and they're playing Nikki FM, and I just start belting.
Right now,
boy. I just want to put out there for the record right now that Ben said, no, I didn't listen to Armor for Sleep because I wasn't that sad. And then proceeded to say that he was a fan of Hawthorne Heights.
Yeah,
I loved the Hawthorne Heights back in the
day. No, but it got me thinking because they weren't the only band I was listening to this week. That's just what I kind of settled on. But it got me kind of into that mindset of back in the day and the kind of stuff that I was into and the kind of stuff that kind of sculpted my general music taste. Why are you giving me crazy eyes right now?
Keep going on. I'm loving this transition. Keep it going. Don't let me. Shh. Keep it going.
It got me thinking. What would you say your guys' top 5 bands would be for like during your formative years when you first discovered rock music or metal or whatever? What were your top bands that changed everything for you?
You said 5?
Yeah, however many you have. Like I have a list of 5, and then I have honorable mentions.
I've got 5 right off the bat. Ready?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Dylon.
I need 2 more.
Dylon.
You son of a bitch.
What is that?
It's the joke he made like 2 episodes ago.
Taylor, this is the Dave Chappelle skit.
Wow.
Spit hot.
That was the episode I was really high. I don't remember.
Wow.
I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm ready to hear these.
Taylor, what bands formed you actually? Because this is, I feel like, the more interesting bit for you.
Oh.
Buck Cherry? Is that on the list anywhere?
Fuck you so much right now. Oh, that's just
fuck Sherry. Oh my god.
No, thank you. I honestly, all right. No, but stop.
All right, I'll let you talk.
High school for sure was my day to remember years.
Okay.
Homesick came out senior year, junior year, whatever. I forget the first full length, the EP. Those were after Homesick though. I dropped off, but I always remember a day to remember when it comes to high school. And then the band I always say that got me into like quotation screaming. I don't know what you want to call it, our heavy music. I think I've told a story on here watching Fuse at like 2 a.m. and Alzheimer's Dying's Confide comes on.
Oh,
I remember that music video with the rain.
Oh, dude, in the rain.
The first time I watched it, I was like confused as what the hell he was saying and what's going on, and also like all those instruments are just ruined.
I have a great story about that. Remind me to tell you at the end.
All right, Thrice, which is it's my favorite band to this day. Once again, Fuse, Image of the Invisible playing. I think, and that was like the sickest fucking song at the time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say Mudvayne was like how I got into like heavy music, whatever you want to call them in like 7th grade and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know about 5th one. I'll probably have to come back to that one, to be honest. My email for the longest was SOAD for System of a Down fan.
Oh, I remember.
I was a big System of a Down fan in middle school and shit. But maybe those are my 5. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Definitely
first. No, those are good answers.
Those stick out to me the heaviest, and they really do like define what a lot I listen to these days.
There you go.
Ben,
what about you, Ben?
Get your 5,
or do you want me to say mine?
I'm the bands that I'm gonna name. Like 5 people are gonna know. I'll get mine out of the way. Because I have 5 formative bands.
I feel like we're gonna share some.
It's possible, but the 5 bands I can remember, like listening to every day as a kid, like 14 to 15 to like 19, those times. Oceana, which was at the time local Florida. I know you guys didn't care for their stuff, but their little leads and melodic stuff,
wasn't a fan.
Loved it. That was before every show we did in my little local band, before we all that stuff. That's all I was listening to was Oceana, Versa Emerge, with
super scene stuff,
with the original vocalist, not Sierra. Yeah. I like Sierra's stuff, but it was that first little EP because I remember Versa Emerge running around the Treasure Coast Mall, handing out flyers. Hey, come see our show.
Yep.
How did we all know that? Like, I mean, we didn't know each other back then.
Because we all grew up in the same city. There's only one place to hang out, and it's called the mall.
Yeah.
I never was able to go to the mall. I lived in Fort Pierce. My parents would not drive me there.
So those 2, and was it Leon?
Okay, yeah.
You remember Leon? Leon, because Terry Younger was the bassist of that, and I remember seeing them live for the first time, and I thought they were miles ahead. Like, Terry's our age, and I thought they were rock stars. So, like, those 3, then I got a little older into the actual scene phase, like Attack, and Devil Wears Prada, all day. That's all I was listening to on my drives.
Yeah.
But as far as... So that's my 5 personal that just was always playing, but formative music-wise, System of a Down... that was middle school, high school, on the bus rides, always playing.
Yep. Prison song all day.
Devil Wears Prada was still there. I still listen to Devil Wears Prada today. And as a callback to what we talked about, they have grown up as well. So high school, very party metal.
Oh, they definitely
and now it's melodic. And they've kind of gone that sellout route. Not sellout route, but that like... They have a new song on their new album that sounds like the Bring Me the Horizon track, where you got the little synthy stuff.
Sounds like they want to make money these days.
But they do it while still sounding like Devil Wears Prada, and it sounds honest. It doesn't sound produced. It sounds like they're maturing.
I checked out their new stuff actually the other day, and I
cool.
like it. It's good.
They put their time and effort in. They deserve to go out there and make some money. That's all right. Yeah.
POD
definitely.
POD was a big one up until
Christian rocks.
Pretty much any Christian alternative. As Lay Dying, obviously.
Yeah.
That. What?
I'm sorry, I just thought of one. Chevelle
had.
Oh, that's a good one.
Huge.
Chevelle had a good hit,
and I still get
the
down
Red,
with
and then there was
Clincher. Yeah. They were very bass driven, and I was bass formative back in the day. A lot of my music was driven around bass.
I'm spacing so hard right now. What was the song that had the snowboarder as the music video? It was like one of their biggest songs.
Was that Clincher?
I can't
remember
the name of the song.
Is it that one? No, that's called Send the Pain Below. Much like suffocating.
That's it.
It was on every angsty kid's radio.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Like Emery, Haste the Day, anything pretty much tooth and nail.
Haste the
Day.
Haste the Day.
Course of Angels.
Maylene. So, and this is a fun tie around. Maylene. Anytime I think about home, it's Under Oath pre-Spencer, back when Dallas was on there, Changing of Times, and Maylene and the Sons of the Disaster, wearing a good old little red bandana, two-stepping in the pit. Yeah, it's. I have a lot of different genres, but those are.
You mentioned a band earlier, Versa Merge. Wasn't that like half of like My Fair Verona?
Yes, it was. Yes, My Fair Verona kind of transformed into Versa.
That was my That was like my first local band I ever fell in love with.
Oh yeah, dude. There was something just before I say mine. There was something really, really special about those old days of the PSL St. Lucie County
2000
scene days.
Yep.
Yeah,
mid to late 2000.
There was some genuinely amazing music and great musicians that were doing a lot of stuff back then. I feel like we don't live there anymore, so whatever, but a lot of what was a great music scene, at least in that type of music, has basically devolved into dad bands and cover bands now. Which, if that's what you want to play, that's fine. Well, whatever. We're just talking, from our own experiences, our own, what we grew up in. It's changed a lot.
I'm not trying to derail from the conversation. I'll let you say your 5. But I was actually thinking about that the other day, and that was such a special time. Because I don't know if it's me getting older and thinking back, like, what are the kids doing nowadays? I don't know, making dances. Like, what were we doing? Fighting in the McDonald's parking lot and making breakdown songs. Like, it was a community.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
Bop, bop, bop.
I just remember the looks. I just remember the looks on the faces of the McDonald's employees every Wednesday night when 50 kids in skinny jeans walked in, like, yo, can I get a McChicken, please? And there's 50 people.
50-cent burger night.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. No, I'm kind of with you on a lot of those bands.
Can I throw one more out there while we're talking to stuff? Did y'all ever get down with the Lincoln County Massacre? You remember them from Orlando?
Oh yeah,
the name sounds very familiar.
Oh
yes, they're from the Orlando area, if I remember right.
Yeah, no,
dude,
I've never seen them.
They have a name of the name of one of their songs has stuck with me my entire life.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's hear
it. And it's because of just what the hell it is. And I remember the name of one of their songs was "I Like My Women Like I Like My Coffee," ground up and in the freezer.
Yep, that.
Yep. God.
Oh, Jesus.
My whole life I've remembered that, and I'm like, can I just use this memory space for something else, please? Like,
that time was also the glory time for grindcore music, and
that piccolo snare,
most ridiculous bands out there. Waking the Cadaver, like their music videos I remember seeing for the first time. I'm like, what is happening right now? I needed therapy after watching their videos.
Well, dude, that was another band from the PSL days from way back then. Vanna White.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
Grindcore.
Yep.
Vanna
White. Yep. I remember Vanna White.
Yeah.
That was the Morgan brothers, I believe. We talked about them. Yeah, they had a couple sloppers of bands.
Yeah. But
sorry,
yeah, no,
go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
I would say, as far as formative music, I have to put at least one of them on there because to this day, and I don't know why, I'll probably get made fun of. They're one of my favorite bands of all time, Blink-182.
Why?
Why
Yeah,
you
you're not
making
going to
fun of
make fun of
Blink-182?
that.
I don't know. Well, I'm not saying from you guys. I'm just saying from other people because they've fallen off a lot in the past few years, and I'm one of the few people that actually still enjoys the music that they still put out past Tom. I'm like, okay, if you don't enjoy it past Tom, that's fine. But are you more of a Blink-182 fan or are you a Tom fan at this point? Because California, that album, literally is the heart and soul of Blink-182 sound.
To be honest, I am not a fan of Blink-182. The only album I have ever enjoyed is Enema of the State, and it's front to back bangers the entire time. And the rest of the albums just kind of were lost on me. I
never got.
They changed.
I never got into them like everyone was obsessed with them, but I never I hate Blink-182. You know, I just
I actually got into them late. I was late to the party. Like I always heard their songs like on the Buzz and everything here and there. But I didn't really come to appreciate them as a band until much later. Not much later, maybe like a year or two, whatever. But I can't kill that street trash skater streak in me.
What's weird is I really don't associate with that music.
What?
I really don't associate with that music. Like
I do.
Yeah,
so many of their music videos, like especially their history as a band and growing up in California too. Like they were either playing guitar or trespassing on private property to skateboard. That was like their entire life. So like, yeah. But no, I would say definitely them. But then leaning more into the area that Ben was touching on before, Emery, Under Oath, As I Lay Dying, which I wasn't like a massive fan of As I Lay Dying, but they're what started my whole journey into that music. That was the
once again another Christian band that us young Christian boys can get away with. They're singing about Christ, Mom. It's okay.
Yeah, and also I'll also say POD as well. I'll still jam
Southtown slaps still. I don't know if you've listened to that lately.
Yeah,
it goes hard.
Oh yeah,
without
it holds up. It holds up for sure. Honorable.
Always skip Youth of the Nation though.
Honorable mentions. I would say Armor for Sleep because that's why I included them. Anne Berlin. I loved Anne Berlin back in the day.
Their new song slaps. I think I sent it to y'all.
And I don't know if you got, and I'll even throw like Burden of a Day in there. I'll throw in. Yeah.
I always forget about them.
Memory
They're
unlocked.
So
Yeah. I could go on and on, honestly, but those are the first ones I mentioned. Those are probably my top 5 for at least the formative stuff. But going back to what you said earlier, Taylor, about the As I Lay Dying music video in the rain.
Yeah.
I remember it was like a religious experience moment for me. It was my first ever Warped Tour. And
you've told me this.
Yep. I couldn't go down to the West Palm one, so I had to go to Miami the next day. So I go down there and I'm with Tyler Norval. Yeah. And As I Lay Dying, they almost didn't make it to that date. They were the last band of the day, and they were closing out the whole day. Almost didn't make it, and they ended up making it like just barely. They were throwing everything on the stage. They open their set with that song, and as the opening riff is coming in, he's doing the drums, and they had a fade effect where he's actually playing, but it's only stage noise in the crowd. And they slowly fade in his trigger audio for the drums, so it's slowly fading in like in the song. As it's happening, I shit you not, there's a storm cloud coming in from the bay. And it starts pouring rain at the exact moment that he comes in with the vocals. I'm like, no way.
You know they remember that. You know they remember that one too.
Oh yeah,
like that's a memorable set right there.
Were you there, Ben?
I made that face that the viewers can't see because I also have a story exactly like that at Warped Tour, different band, different year. It was more of like I have something to add. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that I will never forget that moment. It was like the stars aligned.
I think I've told you about this, Andrew, but that was what solidified Devil Wears Prada in my head. There's something about Florida outdoor shows where if it's the perfect timing, it was Warped Tour, Devil Wears Prada with Roots Above was that was like the album that came out, and I think it was
great album,
either Big Wiggly style or Assistant to the Regional Manager. It was just some crazy song that's starting and with like riffs and stuff. You had not just one storm cloud coming in from behind, but one from the left and one from the right. The entire show got shut down halfway through the set, and they're just playing like crazy. And anyways, not really an exciting story, just like I too went to an outdoor show in Florida, and it just great.
I did see Devil Wears Prada live for the first time that same day, and they were absolutely incredible live. They were so good.
You guys ever hear? Sorry, Taylor. I know you want to move on, but now I'm on a train. Choo choo. You ever hear of a band called Once Nothing?
Yes.
You want
great Southern metal?
The entire album. They only have, I think, it's like one album, like actual album. It's called First Came the Law, and it's a freaking gun-toting gunslinger cowboy with a gun across his chest. Whew. 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 Well, let me tell you what.
You want?
Anyways, I'm done talking about music because.
What were you saying, Taylor?
I was about to say, yeah, good Florida Southern metal band back in the day. History of Monsters. I always got down with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Vero guys.
Yeah, those guys. That was a sad day when those guys broke up, but yeah they was always jammers.
I probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Actually, to this day, I went down to Revolution in Fort Lauderdale at the end of 10th grade, and I saw Under Oath, Norma Jean, and Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. Norma Jean opened, and then it was Maylene, and then it was Under Oath. But this was the tour where Under Oath literally just released Define the Great Line. In my opinion, their best album.
Yep.
And
the only album.
And it was insane. Such a good show. I actually wasn't a huge fan of Maylene before that show. Fell in love with them. I went to their merch booth and bought like 3 shirts and their CD as soon as they were done playing. And it was really cool because Under Oath, all the visuals that they had in their CD booklets and stuff like that in their posters and all of the media basically they had that was marketing the album, they had on a massive projector that they were overlaying it over top of themselves the whole show while they were playing. They're running around on stage and there's just images flashing everywhere. And like, that was another religious experience. That show was amazing.
I was about to freak out because same venue, only been there once, and it was like 11th grade. I saw Devil Wears Prada and Day to Remember play. It was like the Homesick tour. I thought you were about to tell me you were at that same damn show.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. That was like my first 18 years old heading down south to go to my first show out of high school. Or mom let me go to a show out of
leaving town.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get it off our chest, nostalgia. Now we got a bunch of music to listen to tomorrow. I know I'm going to be listening to Hasty Day tomorroing. Anytime Hasty Day is mentioned, I'm back listening to Pressure of the Hinges. I fall back to it for a week. Appreciate it.
I mean,
Ben, safe travels, bro.
I will do my best.
Have fun at Furnace Fest.
Yeah, man. I'm basically this entire conversation is what I'm going to go relive for 3 days.
Yeah.
Burnside, another band we didn't mention that you're going to see. Jerk.
Make sure that Emily or somebody gets some footage of you stage diving so we can turn it into something.
So I'll repeat my last comment from a little while ago. The pit is made of gravel. I don't think I'm going to be stage diving.
Who cares?
You heard me right. You heard me. He laughs nervously.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. No.
I don't know about this.
Should be fun.
Cool.
Real quick, just to reiterate what we already talked about last week, patreon.com/boardtilldeath.
Oh, I guess it's out, ain't it? Check it out, people.
Yeah, we still got to talk about when we're actually going to make some of that bonus content that we're going to put up there, but we will be putting stuff up on the Patreon. Rest assured. So
we already mentioned we might. What a good idea is just us straight up
putting lotions in baskets,
going deeper into the
what?
Yep, put it on the skin. What? Well, on that note, we're getting out of here.
I have no idea what just happened.
Man, enjoy Furnace Fest. We'll talk to you next week. Everyone have a good one. Say toodles.
Later.
Later.
We're still recording.